Okay, this is the Tampa Bay wallpaper installer in the Tampa Bay area, coming to you with another video tip on skim coating your walls before applying your wall covering. What you have here on this wall, I can see it in the video, is I'd say the most is 1/8 of an inch raised surface of texture called orange peel. It's just under what's called a knockdown, very popular in the states just south of New Jersey, and of course out west in the United States of America. And many people don't like this texture, and yet the builders are still using this. So when we hang our wallpaper, ideally you don't want a texture on the wall, because you see these little bumps here. When one sheet of paper is negotiating around these bumps and the other is joined up to it, if the sheet that ends on the left happens to finish off a bump on the texture and the other one doesn't have a bump, you may not match up your seams very well. And from a distance, you can see this magnified. And so we opt to offer skim coating. And that simply is a process by which we apply a mixture of what's called ready mix compound, which comes in your 5 bucket containers. You can get them from USG Sheetrock. I happen to get both types. I got Proform, and this is an all-purpose, okay? I happen to mix this with a 20-minute mud, and that is the powdered plaster. And so I use a combination. I just judge after doing this so long. I put in about a 1-to-4 ratio, depending on how much time I'm going to have to work with it. I actually mix the whole bucket, the 5-pound bucket, with the 20-minute mix. And when you do that, you have to be sure that you could get through the whole bucket before the day is up, because it might not be usable the next day. So I just wanted to show you some techniques on a video that will follow. I'm going to show you how to do skim coating with 2 hands so that you could increase your productivity with your trowel. And so I will just show you here what we do with this process called skim coating, which many of you have asked, can you just do one using the taping knife? Can you do one using your other tool? The only tools I use now for my skim coating jobs are the boat trowel. I like the rounded edges. It doesn't leave track marks on the surface, and I get to apply a lot of mud. Now keep these suggestions in mind as I clean up my trowel here. Number 1, you want to have a spray bottle with you, a source of moisture with which you can dampen your mixture as you go along. As time passes during the project, the moisture in your ready mix compound or your mud and ready mix mixture will start to evaporate. And this is very taxing on your physical strength. And so adding water softens the material and enables you to spread it more easily. Secondly, you want to decide whether or not there's a couple of ways you can apply the mixture onto the wall. You can dip a roller with which you paint walls, into the bucket and then roll it on the walls. But in that case, you would have to have a far looser consistency than the one I'm using right now. And I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you this. Take a look at this mixture, okay? That's not pancake batter. And so the pancake batter mixture is the one you would want when you're going to be using the method of using the paint roller to put the mixture onto the wall. Because if you use the paint roller for this type of a consistency, it's not going to be a very efficient method. Please keep these tips in mind, because this is after lots of experience that I share this with you so that your job can go more efficient and that you are more knowledgeable in the task. And so I'm just going to load my tool up here with the material. This is called a hawk. And you want to have drop cloths underneath the wall when you're skim coating it. Even if you're really good at it, you want to make sure that you have something that's going to catch the dripping plaster. Okay, so it's just the technique that I've shown you this on other videos, but since people enjoy, you know, practice makes perfect, people enjoy watching these things. And so, can you believe this? I actually just did something stupid. Okay, no problem. Wait a second. I just put the camera against the tool I needed. Okay, so just watch what I'm doing now. Now the handle should be dry. I mean, it's something as simple as that, believe it or not. Look, I'm putting a lot of pressure on this thing. I'm coming up from below, knee level. You don't want to hurt your back by stretching too far. Now I got the blade at a 45-degree angle, and I'm making a rainbow-like motion. You see it in the camera, right? Now, I'm closing in on that rainbow. I'm filling in the center of it, the inner part of the rainbow, so to speak, okay? Why am I doing this? It's just the easiest way to apply the compound. Because you can only go up so far, right? But to be efficient, you want to keep the tool on the wall, and the best way to be efficient is to come back down with it. If I go all the way up, I get half of the work done. So if I do this rainbow-like motion, I get to do all of this work with one stroke of the arm. Now you understand why we do the rainbow motion when we apply the plaster. This makes the job go a lot quicker, okay? You don't want to just go in one motion, up and then down. You want to cover as much area as you can, okay? Now, if you have another person here, you could have him rolling it on, and you get 2 boat trowels with which you make this motion. And by the way, it doesn't matter if you're a left-handed person or right. I can tell you that this particular task does not discriminate. You can use either hand, believe it or not. And so, if you're good with one, you will be good with the other. It's the same skills required. If you remember when you were a kid, you would go on the swing, you would hold on to the chain with each hand, right? And you were good. You kept your balance on that seat as the swing went back and forth. You're using the same sort of skill, just to balance pressure with the application of each hand. See, I covered a lot of space at this point. Okay? Same thing, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to start now in front of me and come behind me. Watch this. And I'm just joining the rainbows. When you want to knock down the lines that you've made, when you've done your rainbows, very important that you start off the surface of the plaster. Let's say I start on the surface. Let me show you something. Let me show you what would happen. You'll understand more easily what I'm referring to. Let's say I start okay, so this is smooth, right? Watch this. Look what I just did. Look at the mark I made on it. You see why we don't start on it? So when we start off of it, by the time we get to the wet part, we're smoothing instead of making it marked up. You want to keep that in mind. You want to start off the surface and come down onto the plastic surface, okay? One more time. And as you do this stroking motion, you're joining all of the surfaces together and you're uniting them in one millage, meaning the thickness between the wall underneath and the top layer of your joint compound. And that's called millage. So, I told you the mixture, I showed you the tool that I'm using, and I showed you the application technique. The blade is held at a 45-degree angle on the wall when you're spreading your compound. If you want less compound, that means, look, you put this much on, you want to put as little as possible. You hold the blade literally, practically at a 90. If I want to put more compound on, look what I do to the blade. I bring it more in toward the wall. See that? That's a 45. This is almost a 90. When I want to practically put none, just cover just something very thin. Okay, but that's not what we're doing here. We're coming up at least 1/8 of an inch, filling in all of these divots and nooks and crevices on the surface. So, if you like this video, please click on like, share the video with friends, and please subscribe to my channel. I will continue to make more of these videos. If you have any questions, let me know. If you do this with a different tool, or if you found that you've done this in a more efficient way, let me know in the comments. Please share what you know. And I'll see you on the next one. Again, this is Spencer, the Tampa Bay wallpaper installer, coming to you from the Tampa Bay area. My number is 813-666-7002. Thank you. See you on the next one.